This video is about how to ignore her beauty. I'll give you some logical and practical steps to stop putting beautiful women on a pedestal. To find out more, please stay tuned to this video. Welcome to the SCG Show. Please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and turn your life around with BetterHelp. The link is in the description down below. Let's say it how it is. 9 times out of 10, if we see a hot woman as a guy, our hearts race, we get excited, anxious, nervous, fidgety. Well, okay, some men don't, but that is because they are naturally confident around women. That, according to Dr. Glover, is the most attractive quality in a man, confidence. I was influenced by Dr. Glover to create this video after reading both his books, No More Mr. Nice Guy and Dating Essentials for Men. Dr. Glover would describe himself as a recovering nice guy and has for many years now inspired men all over the world on how to improve themselves and have better luck with dating. When the book The Game came out and was supremely popular, many self-proclaimed pickup artists were learning the art of seduction, and they were getting some very hot women in the process, and the whole thing became a phenomenon. However, all these men, aka pickup artists, were just geeks with the right techniques, opening lines, lingo, and so on. Whilst they might get a date or more with a hot woman, keeping her around was a different story. Then, of course, the red pill, the manosphere, grew out of the shadows of the pickup industry, which provided a much harsher and more brutal view on female nature. What I like about the red pill is its drive to make men do better, improve, and become the best versions of themselves. I'm all for that. What I don't like about it are the massive generalizations, the all or nothing thinking, the splitting, especially when it comes to women. I'm not hating on that community, but I sometimes feel they are not too dissimilar from the pickup artists back in the day, just way more extreme. Dating is subjective as well, and so is beauty. What you might like, others don't, vice versa. That is what makes it interesting. It sounds so cliche, but beauty really is in the eye of the beholder. But sometimes, as I said, we can get a little bit anxious around a woman we find very attractive as men. Hopefully, these points, influenced originally by Dr. Glover, might help you to ignore her beauty moving forward. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you never miss my videos. Yes, I'm sure you've heard this 1,000 times, but maybe it's not sunk in. She's human, dude. She eats, sleeps, goes to the bathroom, walks, talks, you name it, just like you. The only difference is, physically she's a woman and you're a man. Yes, she may have beautiful breasts, a body, eyes, smile, hair, she may smell wonderful, she may take your breath away. But she's still a human being. We're all animals. Still has a heart, lungs, needs oxygen to survive, food and water. I remember many years ago, I was terrified of hot women. I'd get all tense, freeze up, wouldn't know what to say. It was bad if I'd speak to them. I wouldn't even make eye contact. I'd become a shell of myself, not express myself. It was awkward, weird, and I was a dumb, naive kid. Then, through my former online publishing business, I had to work with some models for a long time with some of the advertisers and deals I was working with. And these women were so beautiful and attractive, and I thought, how on earth am I going to work with these women when I act like such a dweeb? Well, slowly and surely, the more I worked with them, I became more comfortable. The more I realized they were nice, just normal human beings. They just wanted to live life like me, get paid, see friends, go on vacation, go out to eat, etc. They sometimes ate healthily, and sometimes they ate McDonald's. As time went on, I got more and more comfortable with them, and they did with me. It was a pleasant experience, and a few years later, I ended up actually dating a model, much to the surprise of my former self. So guys, women are just human. They crack really stupid jokes like us. They can be absolutely wonderful to be around, and they can be very compassionate, caring, kind, sweet, and really generous as well. Not all of them, of course, are like that, but just like men, and just like everyone, there's good and bad in all people. Ignore her beauty by drumming this home into your mind. She's just human, dude. She's just like you. Now, insecurity when it comes to dating and anxiety when it comes to women as well can be difficult to overcome. That's why I want to tell you about my sponsor, BetterHelp. I've personally used BetterHelp and found it so effective for improving my confidence around women and turning my life around for the better. It's an online portal that provides direct-to-consumer access to behavioral health services. The online counseling and therapy services are all web-based interacted, meaning it's all through text and phone communication. You get 4 live sessions a month and unlimited messaging in between sessions, as well as access to group therapy webinars, which are updated each and every week. You can sign up for the BetterHelp online counseling service in the description below. By using that link, you'll be supporting the SCG Show YouTube channel, and as well as that, I'll give you 10% off your first month too. So ignore her beauty, become confident, turn your life around with BetterHelp. The link is in the description below. When I finally overcame my fear and anxiety around very attractive women, over the next few years I dated a lot more than ever before. And the standards had risen, because obviously my confidence had gone through the roof in the process. But the more I dated models and dancers and hot chicks and former cheerleaders, there's something I noticed. I could not talk to them. Seriously, some of these women, although beautiful, couldn't even string a sentence together. Now, I'm not saying all hot women are stupid. And again, I'm not hating on women, just sharing my experience on this topic. The fact is, well, truthfully, I was actually bored out of my brain. She might have looked really good. She might have smelt good. The bedroom might have been a lot of fun. But as you can tell from my channel, I'm a deep thinking guy. I'm analytical, calculated. I'm the kind that wants to have a conversation about an array of topics, not just reality television like Love Island or Instagram and social media, not about money or designer clothes or cars or vacations. There's more to life than superficial nonsense, and sadly, the hot women I was attracting and dating were just not offering any intellectual stimulation. Now, gentlemen, I'm not saying never date an attractive woman here, not in the slightest. You need to be with someone you find attractive, and vice versa, that's the first step. But looks fade over time. And what you once found gorgeous, you may find very irritating. I dated a narcissist for years, and she was one of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen. Yet, she was toxic, a narcissist, and a disaster to be around. But she's hot. Yeah, I get that. But she was a living nightmare. And unless you've been there and experienced that, you wouldn't understand. Not to mention, she wasn't the sharpest tool in the box, making even the most basic of conversations painful. So try choosing connection, conversation, vibe. Prioritize that over just raw attraction and beauty. If you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and support my channel by becoming an official member. The link for memberships is just down below. I touched on this in the previous point, but because most men idolize women to the point of just begging for a slither of their time and attention, narcissism has been on the meteoric rise. Some very attractive women have become more rude, entitled because of this. They believe they are special just because they look good in makeup. They can snap their fingers and men will do anything. They can act rude, arrogant, and behave as badly as they wish. And who gets burnt and screwed over in all of this process? You, the guy. The man who put her on a pedestal because she had a pretty face, a lovely body, and she looked good in her pictures, or maybe in real life. Now, do not get me wrong, there are plenty of unattractive women who are extremely narcissistic, entitled, and so on, but let me focus on the hot type you are most likely fixated with. I'm telling you this firsthand, from the scars and wound of a toxic relationship with a beautiful narcissist. Expect drama, problems, to feel on edge, to feel insecure constantly, to be always jealous of the most minor things, to never ever have your emotional needs met. Dating a narcissist was so impactful on my life that it inspired me to create this channel to warn others of the dangers. Look, not all women are toxic, but as Dr. Glover says, looks fade, but bad behavior lasts forever. Do you want to spend the rest of your life with someone potentially toxic just because they look super hot? But I want to date a hot girl, you might say. Every guy does. But as you mature and grow up, you realize there is more to a good, healthy and genuine relationship than nice boobs and a pretty face. That gets boring fast and annoying if they're toxic. Trust me on this. I want you guys to be happy more than anything. To get out of the mentality of chasing the unattainable, the thing that you can't have, and so on. Which will lead me on to the next important point. This is a severely underrated piece of advice, and probably the most powerful when it comes to this subject. Choose women that choose you. It could sound optimistic or needy, but choosing to surround yourself with like-minded women who value you isn't wrong. It's a characteristic of confidence to keep women around you who lift you up rather than tear you down. You know that girl you think is kind of cute or is kind of sweet, but you try and make excuses not to ask her out? Or the one who texts you every now and again, but you're like, oh, I can't be bothered. Or you don't think she's traditionally hot? Yes, those girls. Or the one that's possibly checking you out right now as you're watching this video if you're out and about. But I can do better. And miss out on potentially fulfilling, healthy, fun times with a girl that digs your vibe? Sometimes men make their lives unnecessarily more complicated than they should be. They do not pursue the women who pursue them. The girls who text them back, who are really interested in them, who compliment them. Instead, they chase unicorns because they look sexy and hot. They'd rather feed off table scraps when they can have regular fun dating a woman who is genuinely into them. Once I learned this powerful and effective tip, it changed my luck with dating. And the irony in all of this, as my abundance grew, I attracted more attractive women, which was awesome. Look, I'm not telling you to drop your standards or settle for something average or toxic or whatever, but be open-minded. I'm telling you, watch how much more fun and exciting dating will be when you stop idolizing the women who've got hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers, OnlyFans pages, and so on and so forth, and are bombarded with men and are toxic to begin with. Instead, look at the women who reply to you, who smile at your texts, who are so up for a drink or sleeping with you and hanging out with you. This is a very simple, yet very, very powerful tip.